Hello, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a great show today. We always talk about bioinnovation, what's happening, what things are progressing in the world that really makes the world a much better place to live. And of course, we talk about it all the time. And I've been able to book a real leader in this field on the show. Her name is Athena Boulgarides, and she, of course, is the co-founder and COO of Au Terre. And she also is the founder and president of HappyTails Canine Wellness, which is an amazing company as well. Both of these companies we're going to be talking about. Athena, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. Let's start by pulling the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell us what's going on at Au Terre.
Au Terre is a dream come true for a lot of folks. We brought together some pretty serious science, patented technologies, incredibly innovative ideas and people, so we could build the solutions to give our world that address the biggest challenges we face. And I think right now, we can all agree, today is February 1st, and it has been quite a January. We are dealing with so many challenges in our world, particularly around wellness, but wellness for our planet as well as for ourselves. So what we did is we brought together some pretty brilliant folks, and we gave them all this clarion call to say, listen, it's time. It's time. We got 10 years. The clock is ticking, and we can do this. And the biggest challenge with any innovative or entrepreneurial endeavor is really to get your folks, your brilliant people, focused, looking in the same direction, and really focusing on delivering together. And that's such a glorious opportunity. And I'll tell you just really briefly what I love so much is I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And Andy, you'll have to stop me if you want me to stop talking, because I can talk forever. So I love it. And you say go and I'll keep going, but please feel free to jump on top of me and say stop. When you work with brilliant people, they're racehorses and they're, dreamers. And it's just so exciting every day that you wake up. But the key to me and my co-founder, Bob Welch, and he's such a glorious person, but we're like, we have to establish a culture that gives birth to great ideas. And that's really based in love and forgiveness. And we have this really cool approach and strategy that I call it the Hall of Fame and Fumbles, because, you just don't fail in life. Nothing is a failure. No time is wasted in real estate, my dad used to tell me. And my dad was my end all be all, and he passed away more than 20 years ago now, but what a teacher he was. And, every fumble, especially in an innovation situation, is a learning opportunity. What did we learn? What did we not see coming? What SWOT aspect did we forget to look at? And when you turn it into that, and you really have fun with it, and we celebrate those fumbles as much as like, okay, here's what happened. This flopped. Now what? But that always leads to the new opportunity on the other end of it. But the Hall of Fame, oh yeah, you gotta really celebrate your wins, and and those also lead to whole new thinking and whole new avenues and channels. So we're having a blast, but there's no need. Everybody's so motivated to do this and to bring the solutions. It's not like, let's not talk about it, let's get it done. So we are having a ball every day. And yeah, I have to share about Bob, my partner. I met Bob, and one of the scientists we were working with for years, that I have known for years, who really had created great strides in biopolymers that are truly soil degradable, edible packaging with incredible barrier properties, fireproof. I mean, these technologies are remarkable. In addition to the nutraceuticals that we're going to be creating, which leads to the improved bioavailability of anything, any payload that you put in it. Bob and I both knew this scientist, and he decided one day to introduce us. And I met Bob, and I thought, this man is all that in a bag of chips, you know. He had quite a history on Silicon Valley, but you know, to the entrepreneurs out there, the challenge is always scale, because founders are founders. Sometimes they're not great at scale, and really going global. And Bob was that person. He had taken companies from the founding to the IPO, and he had a background in finance that was just glorious. And then as I was hunting around about him a little bit, because, you know, Googling and snooping around, I found this book that he was in called The Silicon Valley Edge. And it was published by the Stanford University Press. And I'm reading quotes about Bob, and people, how they talked about how he ran his businesses, and how his importance that he placed on having the right partners and like the top accounting firms and top legal firms to help you. And I just, every layer I peeled back with Bob, I was like, God, this person is incredible. So he and I are, the primary founders of the company, and we get along so well. He's such a dynamo, and I'm just so grateful I found him. So there's my opening lines. It's a lot to say, but there you have it.
Athena, that's awesome. Now let's talk about your team and the commitment to really sustainable solutions. Where did all of this come from? Where did this start? Where did this passion to change the world and make it a much better place come from you and your team?
You know, I'm going to give credit to Pepperdine. I got to tell you, I was so fortunate to get to be enrolled in the Presidential Key Executive MBA program at Pepperdine. And they gave me a scholarship, which is very rare. And when I met Dr. Strom, who had started and ran all those programs for 40 years, that program, it was like a think tank of brilliant people that worked at NASA, JPL, Boeing, Starbucks, you name it. And we traveled the world together, and we met leaders of all of the major companies in the world and would sit down and have conversations with them. And this was for me from 2005 to 2007. I'm still friends with many of them, all of them. I brought a couple of them into the company with me. And unfortunately, Dr. Strom passed away last year from what they stated were COVID-related issues. And boy, what a celebration of life we had. But he blessed us. He gave us this vision of the world, and made us, of course, realize that we were the only ones that could tackle it and handle it. We were the top of the top, and they made us feel wonderful. But there was a reality that was brought to bear in that we can do this. We've all worked in these incredible companies, and can we do it? Can we bring these solutions? And I think when you go from feeling like a victim to a victor, and you really look at, what's the best use of my time? I remember, I think it was third grade, little dovetail. I remember the first time I got graded. It was on the report card, makes good use of time. I don't know if they do that now, but they did then. And it blew my mind as a kid. Like, that's being measured. That matters. And it hit home. I can't tell you why. It just impacted me my whole life. And it's been that thing in my heart, like, what are we going to do? What can we do with the time that we have? And right now, we have such, especially in the United States of America. I mean, look at Elon Musk and holy smokes, what we're able to do together when we apply our brains and our resources and our passion, But I've never seen a time like this where technology is there to do anything we want. We can do great things and we can do horrible things. So let's do the great things and bring together the great people to do them. And all I had to do was invite, and boy, they're just, let's do it. The commitment and the passion is there. They need, we all need strong leadership. And we need to create channels for commercialization that make sense if you're going to turn it into a business. So that's, we're constantly inviting the partnerships, the networks, and now we have a global thing going on. We have doctors in Australia and in the UK. Everybody's jumping in, and it's wonderful.
So great. It's obvious to anybody watching the show. We have so many entrepreneurs watching the show that, Athena's passionate. I mean, she can talk for a long time about what's happening with Au Terre because her team is so amazing, and what they're doing to change the world is very, very powerful. And of course, one thing that we connected on were the dogs. You've got this fascinating sort of grouping under Au Terre called HappyTails Canine Wellness. We love it. My wife and I, as you know, have a Pomeranian, and we love our dogs as well. Let's talk about that because we have so many viewers that have dogs and animals. Let's talk about what's happening at HappyTails because it's just an exciting story.
It's so cool. I agree. And I love you sent me a picture of your dog. It's so cute, so adorable. So these are my pups on it's a mirrored screen. So I'm going to say, is that my left or right? Now I'm all backwards. This is Riley and this is Ace. And Riley was very sick when I got her. And she was, I won't go into details, but she was close to death. And the vet said, let's try antibiotics, but I don't know if they'll work because this looks like this looks like not a domestic strain of parasite. So I don't know if it'll work. I said, well, what if it doesn't work? He says, well, you probably should take her back, to where you got her and get your money back. And I'm sure it was the best advice that he could give, but it broke my heart. And that started my journey with understanding canine nutrition. Literally, I started feeding her the probiotics that I was taking. And within 3 days, she was fine. And I was astonished. So it turned my head into, when you love a dog, when you are fortunate enough to have a relationship, a soul relationship with a dog, you know what I mean. It changes you to the core. It's different. There's a soul in there that's so beautiful and powerful. And I think they understand us and how to protect and serve us in ways that we can't even comprehend. So that got me going. And this was all concurrent, this was all concurrent with the science about, the biopolymers and the global challenges. And then everything we were doing with the nutraceuticals and the probiotics, pre and pro and postbiotics. And we began to start looking at and meeting the doctors and the people involved that had been doing the research with postbiotics and the microbiome. And the microbiome, now we know the microbiome, your gut health, the balance of your gut health is directly related to your immune system. So I went and found 2 people. I found Kevin Young, and Kevin Young gave us tremendous guidance and opened doors for us in this industry that allowed us to move in 12 months faster than any company he's ever seen. It was because of him. It was because he opened the doors for us with great partners, great manufacturing partners. But he also introduced us to Dr. Greg Sunvold, and he's on the website. You can check him out. He is brilliant. He has this unusual distinction. He's written the most patents of any person in the United States in pet nutrition. He's worked with the big boys, IAMS and Mars and Nestle, I believe, but several companies. So he's done his homework, and he knows how to formulate great product. So I started talking with Greg on a daily basis. I said, Greg, I want to do this company. He's like, let's do it. And December 2021, am I right? 2020, December 2021, we hit some tremendous milestones. So now we're selling on Amazon. This year we're moving into global sales. We've got our own website. We're looking at some brick and mortar retailers, but we're going global with it. And we're going to stay on this trajectory with delivering what's best for the dog. And we are loving it. We're very proud of our products.
I mean, I love it. HappyTails. I mean, you go to the website, you see so many great looking photos of dogs. You've got Max Mobility and Marine Munchies and, jazzy jerky treats. I mean, so great. And it's so great for the dogs. That's why it's resonating with so many people that are buying your products, because we want our dogs to have the best, like you mentioned, biome available. And your team is putting this together. I mean, it's incredible. Now, how does it work? HappyTails is under the Au Terre umbrella. How does that sort of work together?
Well, right now it's an operating division of Au Terre, but the plan here is to have Au Terre as the holding company, and then have each division be a wholly owned subsidiary. So we have a lot of flexibility in that business model. So yeah.
I love it. And of course, your products. I mean, you've got the world's best sort of engineers working on the products. How long does it take, or how long did it take for you to formulate what arguably is the best products in the world for dogs right now?
Well, it took a year, but I'll tell you, it would have taken a lot longer without Kevin Young and Greg. Dr. Greg Sunvold. Greg knows, every time we turn around and we have a conversation about an ingredient with, let's say, the doctors or the group of doctors that create the ingredients, like at Cargill, okay? They're walking us through a deck, and up pops a study done by Dr. Greg, or a synopsis, or an analysis. And they all know we're working with him and he's working with us. But because of that, because of Greg's leadership with us, and I have to say, yes, some of it is us too. We're looking at, as Greg and I talked about formulating our Max Mobility formula, how can we make it even more effective? And we're doing something very innovative that doesn't exist right now. We're blending in the proteins, and we've chosen green lip mussels because they have all 3 omegas, by the way. We'll go into that later, but if it's on the website, please check it out. But it's the superfood of superfoods. All of these ingredients are the best for all of us, for our dogs, for our people, and what they can do in biopolymers, edible packaging. It's remarkable. So it's all linked, believe it or not. And it may seem like it isn't, but it truly is. And it's all about you.
Athena, I love it so much. You're so passionate about what you do. Of course, you've only cut out a certain amount of time for us. You're so busy with all the different businesses and umbrella businesses that you're running. I mean, changing the world, of course, with Au Terre, and changing one dog's inside at a time. I love it so much. Now, before I let you go, I want to talk about entrepreneurship, because we have younger entrepreneurs that watch the show. They're probably listening to you and they're saying, wow, Athena's surrounded by all this top talent, worldwide leading experts. Does she ever have a pothole? Does she ever hit a hole in the wall? Maybe you could talk to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show and tell them what it takes to get through a tough time as an entrepreneur, because we've all had those tough times.
That is such a big question. I've mentored I've always mentored teens and young adults. I have such tremendous respect for them and for what they go through in life. I've been through incredible challenges, some highest highs and lowest lows. I can say that I was fortunate with my father. My father was a great man, great to his children, but a great human being as well. And he would always tell me these little things like, have the faith of the mustard seed. Persistence alone is omnipotent. Have the courage of your convictions. And my first company, Coco Originals, I honored my father. That was his nickname. And we made products for kids that were inspirational. And they were selling all over the world. But those were the cornerstone ideas. And it sounds good. But how do you really do it? And there's a million bits and pieces of advice you'll get. But I have to say, you have to keep walking forward. You have to keep pushing forward. You will have people come against you and tell you your idea is ridiculous. When I was first talking to investors about this, I had a million no's. No. It's too big. It's too this. It's too that. I knew that they didn't know. They didn't have my vision and my dream. I'm sure if Elon Musk was out asking for money in the beginning, they think it was crazy. You're going to make a truck that drives sideways? What? And you can't, how? So you've got to believe in yourself. And you have to find the best people you can to surround yourself with, because association is everything. And it's not always, they don't have to, I've heard people say they have to be better than you or smarter than you. It's not that, I don't think. I think everybody contributes to the whole, to the mission, to the vision. They've got to be people that help you shine, that help you fill the gaps in the areas you need gaps filled, and help hold you up in your weak spots, or that inspire you. And you never know, that may not be what everybody else thinks is the right people or the right situation. It's you're going to know. You have to stay true to what you are, what you believe in, what you know your vision is. And every day I'm reinventing, every day, what about this? What about that? Right. And we're living in a time where you can do that. So don't be afraid of that. Embrace the innovation. But to do that, you need strong-minded, strong-willed people that are able to innovate. And that's not for everybody.
Athena, that is so powerful. I mean, that is for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show. Rewind what Athena just said. I mean, that could be a Harvard MBA right there, what she just gave you about keep on going forward, keep on pushing. So many people are going to say no, but believe in yourself and believe in your dream. And, what you're doing with Au Terre, with the bio-innovative environmental solutions is incredible. And of course, HappyTails, I love it. And, we're taking care of the dogs, and there's so much coming down the road. We can't even unpack it all during the show. I'm going to bring you back on the show because I think we really want to talk more about the team and the way in which you gel and why leadership starts at the top, and how the corporate culture forms from this passion that you and your co-founders have for doing right. And there's also another element that you have, that you give back. Maybe we can just touch on giving back a little bit, because I know you're such a big believer in giving back to the community. Maybe just touch on that briefly. And unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the show because we're going on TV with it. So we don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to bring you back on the show as well.
Thank you. I would love to come back. And thank you for that support and echoing what I said. I agree. And entrepreneurs, if you ever want to come talk to us, we would love it. That's the main aspect of giving back. If there's any way we can inspire you, have a chat, have a coffee, come join the company. That's what it's all about. Giving back. I was so fortunate to work 10 years with the largest nonprofits in the world, World Vision and Child Fund International. I got to work on projects all over the world, and the poverty and the broken governments and the family, the importance of family in these countries, in the smallest village, guys, there's so much to do. And everything you do, if it's a little tiny thing or a huge thing, everything resonates. Everything has a global impact. The butterfly on the other side of the world is going to feel it when you do something. So every activity you engage in to help someone else will never be a wasted moment. So give back in little ways and big ways, but keep it on your mind, keep it on your heart, because it's when it becomes part of your cellular being, you have this amazing life. You have things coming to you that wouldn't come otherwise. And I know this generation is more about giving back than any generation ever. And I'm so in love with that about you guys. You millennials, you guys are powerful. And just keep doing what you're doing. You're giving back in big ways and little ways. And we're watching, and we're proud. And we're proud to see where you're going to go next. And we want to be a part of it. So please keep doing what you're doing. And I know we have to run, but wow, what a joy this was. Thank you for letting me be on the show. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Athena, I have to tell you, you're one of these types of people that I call a lamplighter, where you're bringing light into the world. And sometimes the world can be filled with darkness, but we need more people like you, bringing the torches in, lighting other torches, getting the light to sort of stamp out the dark. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been really awesome.
You're that same person. You're that light in the darkness too, my friend. Thank you.